give you an example here of what it actually looked like a long time ago, up until the early 40s. Okay, I have with me today Patsy Tate. She's going to explain some of the major businesses in the area, and you see we've got a lot of houses here, but we really can't take the time to tell you what all of them's name that lived in the houses, but we hope that we've got this close to what it used to be. Patsy, if you'd like to come in now and start, well, I'll let you do some talking.
This map was made by the 8th grade A class. And I'm going to start with the Peavine train station here. This is where the old Peavine train come in to Bean Station. It was called the K&B, and it come from Bristol and went to Knoxville. And this is the old station. This is the old fort at Bean Station, and I'm almost sure it was built back here in the days when people had to fight with the Indians, and it was also used during the Battle of Bean Station in the Civil War. And the old breastworks, part of them are still there even today. And this is the old Mineral Hill Springs Hotel, and it was owned by and operated by Dr. Hacker. And he came here with the Confederate Army and found these springs, and later he came back and opened a sanatorium there. And the miracle cures of that day is supposed to have happened there. And this is Bean Station Tavern, and it was located in Lower Bean Station, and it was the biggest hotel between New Orleans and Washington route. And this is old 11W or Lee Highway running up and down through here. And this is the post office at Bean Station. I don't know very much about it. I can vaguely remember it in my day. And this is the old Bean Station Baptist Church. It was the old one before this new brick one was built down here. And this is Old Bean Station School, right here. And it runs up this old highway.
That's on the road that goes to Morristown, old 25.
Yeah, this is old 25
Okay.
highway. And this is a rock quarry that was in the Norton community. And this is the old Peavine Railroad that you can see through here.
Okay.
And this black mark here is German Creek. Now that's here is the old Gill home. And it was the home of John and Jessie Gill. And they had a son who fought in the Civil War, and his name was Stephen Gill, and he's buried in Lower Bean Station in an old cemetery that needs to be taken care of even today. And it was once used as a store and a school, and they even had a bar in the back of it, I understand. And this is our book that we're making on the history of Bean Station. It has just about anything that anybody would want to know about Bean Station in it. And this is the church right here. It was called the Lighthouse, and it was a church for black people back years ago. And this is various homes on the highway back and forth through Bean Station. And this is Tate Springs, the famous Tate Springs Lodge. And it burned down in 1963. And this is the hotel. This is the grounds around the hotel. They raise their own animals and stuff to feed people that eat there. And this is the gazebo, which is still standing today, and the old bathhouse. And it is now used by Kingswood School as offices.
If I may interrupt you here a minute, Patsy, those little houses, we never did change them. They're supposed to be over here on the other side of the road, but that kind of gives you an idea. Okay, go ahead there. Here's the red and white store now.
Yeah, we're right here. It's the
Okay.
red store. And they used to make cars there. We'll put them together, assemble them there. And I think some Jarnigan people, maybe they're
right.
still in business in
Right.
Rutledge.
Mr. Jarnigan, I forget what his first name is.
And this was called the White Store.
Okay. Let me back up here and get all of it again, kind of for the people. Okay, this is what you'd seen when you was traveling, coming from Rutledge up, and there's the road that comes down out of the valley, and then on up towards Midway Truck Stop. Here's the road. This is old 25. It went towards Morristown, and we come back, pick up Lee Highway 11W going on towards Midway Truck Stop now, or Rogersville, and up in the distance, Tate Springs Motel. Mr. Bill Day, he's a teacher here at Bean Station Elementary School. He come down from up in Unicoi County, a good man, done a good job, and we'd like for him to talk to one of our students here and ask him about homecoming '86. Mr. Day, would you take over there, sir?
We have with us today Travis Spradlin. Travis is a student here at Bean Station. He's in the 7th grade. Mr. Arnington's homeroom. We'd like to ask Travis a couple of questions here about homecoming. We're celebrating homecoming all across the state this year. And Travis, what are some of your thoughts on homecoming?
Well, the school's been involved in it.
How do you enjoy living in Bean Station, Tate Springs area?
Well, I like the lake, through the mountains, nice week.
Okay, we really appreciate y'all taking time out to join in this celebration. We need to go on and get maybe some littler ones and talk to them, but we really appreciate Travis and Mr. Day, you taking time out to give this time to us. Thank you.
And what's your name? I didn't... Bob Goins. How old are you?
I'll be 87 years old no, 88.
88 now. And you lived in this area all your life? Well, it's nice to meet you. I hadn't met you before. And, now what's your name?
Helen Bishop.
Helen Bishop. How old are you, Helen?
I'll be 85 in October 14.
And you've always been
In this area.
okay. Well, what can you tell me about this area, Miss Bishop?
Well,
Okay, Miss Bishop, can you tell me some things about the Bean Station area?
when I first remember, of course I lived around here when I was born, as I said, here in this area. And the first thing I can remember was a little white church. And it, at that time, it was, you know, we had it was a Methodist church, and it also had the lodge hall. And the lodge was upstairs, and the church was downstairs.
Was that the
And on the
Masonic
ground
Lodge?
floor- Pardon?
Was that the Masonic Lodge?
As a Masonic lodge. And they had, at Christmas time, we would look forward to that so much because they would, the local people would just go in together and have the Christmas tree for us, and every child got a tree. And then when they had a revival, I think of that so much because they, you know, the people would gather together during the day and have the revival, and the people came from far and near, and they didn't have cars to ride in before season, so they had to come walking most of the way. But we'd always have a good revival. The preacher would go home with somebody in the morning, and they'd go there at stay for supper and go back to church that night. And later on, as I grew up, I went to Bean Station School. There was a little church in the schoolhouse now, just below this church I'm talking about, and it was Tate Springs. And I remember one lady was Miss May Gray. I was about this in the 3rd grade then. But then I went later to Bean Station School, and I can't remember all the teachers. Miss Molly Johnson was my favorite teacher, I guess. And she taught us by the rule of the hickory stick too. But we learned, and we went 3 months out of the year at that time. And we really learned a lot under Miss Mama. And she also, when I was 20 years old, I finished the 8th grade under Miss Mama. But that's a different area. I was over in the north here. So I don't know of anything now.
You know if, you knew quite a bit about Tate Springs up here. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, really, I live near Tate Springs and I live down here in the station.
Do you remember Tate Springs when it was open?
Oh, yes. I worked there. When I was about 16, I worked in the laundry there. They had steam laundry, and they did the gas, the folks for the gas, and the linens and everything. We had, I worked on the manual mostly, and it was doing the linens. And that was all the hand linen and of course, the table linen, which was pure linen. And they had really, in the summertime especially, of course, I believe at that time it run the whole year. But they had, I couldn't say, I believe they housed about 200 guests, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't that right, Lloyd?
I guess it was.
And, yeah, Bobby could tell you some things about me, about Tate Springs too, but, Dr. Tomlinson was the doctor on the grounds for the hotel. And Mr. Clem, I believe, ran the farm, and they raised all their meat and everything, their hogs. They had this big slaughter box, you know, the big box that they slaughtered their hogs in. They also had a farm of about 3 springs, and they would drive their hogs on foot from there. And they drive them down to the hotel there and put that all up for so many years from the year. And my father has told me about how he would go to Oakland River and cut an ice, when they have a hard freeze and haul it in the way, and they had this big house that they housed it in, they packed it in sawdust. And that was before the electric came this way. So they didn't have any way of preserving the ice, you know, or keeping it. But that's the way they kept it. And they would use it through the summer.
And it lasted all summer.
And they lasted all summer in that sawdust. Of course, the house was built airtight again.
That's great. We really appreciate that. You did a good job. Thank you very much.
Mr. Goins, I've not talked to you before, but, and you've lived in Dean Station all your life? What can you tell me about it?
That's a long story.
I bet it is. 87 years young, huh?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Rankin County. And I went to the Tate Springs Hotel, I guess it's 1912. And went there washing cups, just as a little old boy, the glasses. And they had these big heavy dishware, you know, they couldn't wash them glasses every day. And they gave me a job doing that. I went there, and Mrs. Al Thompson, now she was alive at that time. Captain Thompson, they called him. He done passed away. I went there. But I stayed there 7 years, worked there 7 years, learned to be a cook. And I took off after that. Now she come there and worked since I lived there. And it's been a rough old go. I cooked for 4 years.
44 years.
4 years.
At Tate Springs?
No, ma'am, this year, younger.
Oh.
It went down up in Hillsburg, North Carolina. And he go to get a job, you know, that's. Yeah, a rough old time. But now, I want to say this. Back then, they had a big walk-in freezer there. You feel the old stuff, just like the name of the tent. And they had their own lights, their own powerhouse and everything, you know. Had just what they got today, other than different models than what the stuff is today. And I've seen them bury that ice like she's talking about. Had a big long ice house. And they had the sawdust in there, and Mr. Mac Hayes, Mr. Pete Hayes, and Andy Haywood there, I can't think of his name, but he had a son.
John Haywood.
John Haywood. That's now in, let's see, the Joyce's. They worked there.
Jim Joyce.
Jim Joyce, and his brother.
Sam.
Sam, that's right. They worked there, and they used to go and cut the ice on that, what they call German Creek. They had a little flower plant over on that creek at that time. And they'd go down and cut and haul it in there with waves, you know, bury that stuff. And all we had to do in the summer, go down there and get it, bring it there to the spigot and wash it off.
Yeah.
And it's ready to go. Yeah.
Frank?
We really appreciate you there. We enjoyed you talking to us.
It's Mr. Lloyd Ridge. And how old are you, Mr. Ridge?
76.
76. Can you tell me some things about your life here in Bean Station?
Yeah, well, I was born and raised here. Maybe I growed up here. My good friend Tom Long, somebody asked his daddy where he was raised, and he said, I wasn't raised, I just growed up. So maybe that's what happened to me. I growed up in Bean Station. I've lived here all my life, and I think it's a great place to live. If I could live 100 years, I'd want to live at Bean Station. I started teaching at Piney Grove. That's a little one-room school. Frankie remembers it, I'm sure. Miss Bona Beach was the teacher. I went there 6 years. Then I went to Riverview. I graduated from 8th grade at Riverview, then come to Bean Station. They had a high school in Bean Station at that time. So I went to school 2 years at Bean Station in high school. Then I graduated from Rutledge the next 2 years, and I went to LMU in 1929 and stayed there through 34. And I came back to teaching. I had never planned to teach, but it was 1932 during the Depression when I couldn't get anything else to do. So I applied to the board member, and he said, well, I haven't got a thing in the world. So I found out he was an insurance agent. So I went to him, I said, now, if I could get a school, I could buy some insurance. He said, I can place you at Broward.
You was learning that psychology early there, weren't you?
I started at Broward and taught 44 years. And I worked in Oak Ridge 3 years during the war. I got froze on the job down there. I went down to Oak Ridge to work during the summer and got froze on the job and stayed there 3 years. And I came back and then went to Hamlin County 3 years. And when they consolidated the schools, well, I came back to Granger County. And I was principal 34 years of Bean Station School. And I enjoyed every bit of it. I remember...
That's great.
I remember the old hotel, Tate Springs Hotel. As a boy, we'd go up there on Saturday night and watch them dance, you know. They'd dance and they'd get so drunk they couldn't, they'd have to quit.
Did you ever join in with them?
You was too young to dance back then,
When
weren't you?
the hotel burned, that was a sad time. So that
Yeah,
was a fine
sure was.
old building, and I hate to see it leave. And I was teaching at Bean Station when the old building burned. I just happened to look up through the belfry and the smoke was just a boiling out. So I never said a word. I just gave the alarm, and we had everybody outside before they even knew what was happening. Then when they find out, we had the hardest time keeping from going back in. They want to go back and get your coat. They want to go back and get your book.
Were you teaching up there at that time?
We just had to stand at both doors, you know, and keep them from going back in the building. And the piano was on the second floor when it burned through and fell. I'll never forget that. That made the funniest noise
Yeah.
when it hit through there. Then I went to Mineral Hill Hotel and finished the rest of that year. Then they built a new building up here, and I came back up here, and with the with the exception of 2 times, I spent most of my time at Bean Station School.
Tell me about the Sunday school pens you have. How many do you have?
What?
Your Sunday school pens?
How many Sunday school pens do you have, Mr. Rich?
When they built the dam, I moved to Bean Station and joined the church there in 1941, and I've got 45 years of perfect attendance. Haven't missed in 45 years.
Oh, that's amazing.
Well,
I hope I can make that 45 more, but
I hope you
doubt
do.
it.
That's great, Mr.
But
Rich.
it has been a joy to work in that church. In Bean Station School, the first year I taught, they had 4 teachers. And the last year I taught, they had 30 teachers. We had 200 students at the old building. They had 820 up here when I taught. So I certainly grew up with Bean Station School. And I enjoyed every minute of it.
That's great, Mr. Rich. We really appreciate it, and I know you've meant a lot to me, and I appreciate it. Mr. Rich get away without telling me there about his old friend over at LMU that tried to educate his mule while he was over there. Mr. Rich, go ahead and tell me about that.
I went to the LMU in the fall of 1929. I roomed with a boy from Hancock County. He was a fine chap. He's raised on the farm over there. Never done anything but work on the farm. He plowed a big old mule. His name was Beck. He'd say, "Get up, Beck. Whoa, Beck." And so he went to LMU, stayed the whole freshman year. He come back during the summer. So his daddy put him to plowing this same old mule again, you know. He took him out there and hitched up. But this time, he had an education, so he had a different approach. Instead of saying, "Get up, Beck," he said, "Proceed, Rebecca."
Thank you very much. My name's Ken Coffey. I hope you enjoy this film that I'm making, and I really like to appreciate the people that's helped me make it. And I hope you enjoy the historical sites and the famous people that Tate Springs and Bean Station has, the people that have lived here and enjoyed living here. And I hope you enjoy watching it as much as I have enjoyed making it. Thank you. Remember visiting Mr. Clay Cope today, and there's no way that I could do an interview or a story about Bean Station without including this fine gentleman here, and he's going to be talking to us. I understand, Mr. Cope, that you was a barber down at Old Bean Station plus Tate Springs Motel. And before we get started, I'd like you to tell us, if you don't care, how old you are.
Well, last December 10th, I was 81.
Well, we appreciate that. If you want to go ahead and tell them about your barber experience there, we'd appreciate it.
Well, I've been a barber. I have barber life 55 years. I've been barbering since 1929, and I've been 29 when I got my first barber license. I used to work here at Bean Station, and then I'd work up at Tate Springs. I'd go for 2 hours a day, 10 to 12. It's Tate Springs Hotel. I worked up there every day through the week, 2 hours, and take care of the guests up there. They'd come in, and then of the evening late, if there's any guests up there, sometimes they'd come down there, and I'd have to shave and cut their hair, you know, down Bean Station. I had a shop down there for, I guess, 20 years, I imagine, at Bean Station, Old Bean Station. I came over there in 1931 from Tazewell. I stayed in Tazewell about 6 months, and I used to run around. I was smart about every 6 months or a year I'd move.
Right.
I moved after I come to Bean Station.
Okay.
I just stayed there and just kept barbering. And then after the lake come up, you know, we had to move out and come up here to Rocky Summit, and I moved the barber shop up here then. But I guess before, you know, we was down there at the old bean section. We had a shop. Well, I may get ahead of myself.
Well, that's all right. Don't worry.
I had a shop across the street over from where the last one had. I worked there a long time, and there's a post office built in the barber shop. They just alike.
This was down at the old bean station.
At old bean station.
Okay.
And when I first went to work down there, and they just alike. And one Sunday morning, I was going in the barber shop or something, and I went over there on the porch and went up there and got my keys out and started to unlock the door, and I said, the key won't fit. And I come find out I was trying to get the post office. I tried to get the post office. I looked around and anybody looking at me.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I've done that a few.
I didn't get in it before the key wasn't fit.
Right.
I didn't see nobody looking at me, so I they were both just alike.
Yeah.
The buildings just alike. And that was, yeah, and then...
Well, I've got, I tell you what, we got a picture here. Let's just take a break here and look at that picture of the post office, see if I can focus it in, then we'll see. Now, this was a picture of the post office, Mr. Cope, pretty close to where your barber shop was, wasn't it?
Yeah, just right next to it. And that was a post office there. We fixed it. I turned mail over Thornhill on Star Route from me over Thornhill. And we all gathered up there, and somebody made that picture. I don't know who it was, but that's post office was where it was then.
Okay.
That was about 1931. I don't know. It stayed there for 3 or 4 years, I guess, after that. I remember about 31 or 2 or 3 along there somewhere, the gentleman come in and wanted a haircut. And the board made up, he didn't say one, but the board up out there wanted to make up money to get me to cut his hair and shave it. And he come out there and they wanted to get a picture of it, you know, and so he got up, I got up in a chair, and I told him to have a seat, and he sat on a footrest. And he said, I didn't know. I said, I thought you were supposed to sit up there in the barber chair. I said, no, where do you think I'm going to sit? Yeah, they made a picture of it, and it was in Life magazine. It's 1939. That's 1939. I remember when that was.
And that was in Life magazine, huh?
In Life magazine.
That was a real popular magazine then. Yeah, it sure was.
It was then.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
Yeah, that was, I didn't know, well, a fella down there one time wanted to borrow a picture from South Carolina of it, and I let him have a picture. I didn't know what he wanted with it. Next time I knew anything about it, the fella set up the hotel, come down there and said he saw it in Life magazine.
Well, that's great.
I didn't know it was going to be in Life magazine, and I went up there and bought one of them.
Well, I noticed you took me in the house there a while ago and showed me the picture of it where it really actually come out of the magazine. You know, you give me this picture to film, but I actually went in the house and seen the picture, the way it was.
The sheet of it, they got it, I think they got that sheet that Johnson Video fellow did. They wouldn't let him have the book, but they tore out a sheet and let him have it.
Okay.
He wanted to make a photostat copy of it, and so he got it. They gave him a sheet of that.
Okay.
It was in Life magazine, 1939.
Well, that sounds very interesting. And some of the, you know, Mr. Cope, before I came up here, I talked to the Levsey boys, and they told me, they said, be sure that you talk to Mr. Cope about his musical background, and he's been to a lot of famous places. I guess you could say picking and a grinning, because that's what bluegrass is all about. I'd like for you to tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we first started, and I guess about 33 or 4 picking around Bean Station there. We called ourselves a Bean Station Bean Beatles then. And I think we played on the morning show down there at Knoxville, and then we got on the merry-go-round later. So. But we played on at 5:45 every morning. We'd have to get up and get down there by 5:45 and put on a program. And they called us Bean Station Bean Beatles then, but we played under that name. there's a man come up there. The reason we went down there, there's a man come up there from Knoxville and wanted a country bunch, bluegrass something, and he saw us. We just went on down and got on the morning program, and we played Rice Martin bit like that, and then showed all over the night. We went on show days every night, all over the country. We'd go to North Carolina one night, and Kentucky, and Virginia, and all over Tennessee. We just made all these little schoolhouses.
Right.
25 cents, I think.
Yeah, big money there. That was like back then. That's.
And no, none of them didn't want the money back. Or we had a good time, and
that's
we
great.
went on like that up, and I think we quit for a while. And then the brothers, they joined Happy Battle Bunch, and they went to Chattanooga, and they played down there a while, and they went from there to Grand Ole Opera. Charlie Lester did. They played on Grand Ole Opera a while, and then they come back to Knoxville. And then we recorded. We recorded in 47. 1947, we recorded for King Record Company, Cincinnati. We went up there and we cut 10 records, 10 sides, 5 records.
Right.
And we stayed 3 days, I believe. And of course, I guess some checks was, I think the first we got was for that first number, I think $100 and some.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money, like money.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, I had one song in there with Sleep Beneath the Dark Dam and Knoxville Girl on the other side. But that if you had a number of your own, you just got a half a cent. That's all you got on that number. Of course, they could, I don't know how much they made on it, but we didn't make too much.
Right.
And then we come back here, and brothers, they went. I said they went on to Nashville, stayed a while, and then they come back. And then we just finally played over at Morristown a while, and then finally quit.
Okay, here we have a picture of the Cope brothers when they was performing. And Mr. Cope, if you'd like to, I'll let you introduce these boys for me here.
Well, okay, the one, Charlie, the one with the mandolin, that's Charlie. And the middle one, that's Wallace, that's my boy. And the one with the guitar, that's Lester. And of course, I imagine you knew who I am on the bottom.
Okay, got you there. Okay, these performing, can you tell me some of the entertainers that you've personally got to know? And
I used to run a restaurant up there in a truck stop, and nearly all that bunch from Nashville. They used to stop with me, Roy Acuff, Pee Wee Kango, West Cowboys, and Eddie Arlen. They all of them stopped with me up there, you know. I know my wife used to make pies every weekend, you know, and they'd buy a whole pie and take it with them. And old Bill Monroe and that bunch. Bill, he stayed all night with me one night. He's a show in Johnson City, and Bill called me up one night and wanted to know if I had a place for him to stay all night. And I told him I did, and they come on down. They had some of the boys wanted to go squirrel hunting with him. And one of the boys went over in front of this woods over here, and one went back here, and then old Bill, he didn't go squirrel hunting. He went with me on the mail. I was carrying the mail from the bean station in Thornhill. He went with me on the mail route that day. So they stayed out all day with me, all night that day.
okay, now we've got a magazine here that we need to look at, and we'll talk about Bluegrass Magazine, which was a national publication that centered on country music and bluegrass. A lot of the opera stars and touring bluegrass musicians appeared in this magazine, and we're going to turn the cover here in a second and show you some old Bean Station boys that's made the big time here in this magazine. And Mr. Cope, can you remember what year this magazine come out?
The date's on there. It's I think in 80 or 81. I believe it's in December. I believe it's in December 80 or 81. The date's on there, but
Okay. All right. Let's turn over there and see see what we got. The pages in the magazine here. Mr. Cope, you want to go ahead and introduce these boys here?
Well, that's Cope brothers, or Charlie Lester. When they was playing, started on the midday merry-go-round. Lester there and Charlie on the mandolin, Lester on the guitar. And we first started playing down there under the Bean Station Bean Bee. And then we went to the Cope brothers later. And on the picture on the other side is first picture there is Chet Atkins. He used to go on show days with us some. And Tony Cinciola, that's on accordion, and Charlie Cope on the mandolin, Lester on the guitar.
Okay, this is a very interesting article that appeared in this national magazine on the Cope brothers and bluegrass, and we'll turn the page here in a minute, but Mr. Cope has donated this book to the Bean Station Library, and if there's anybody that sees this film that would enjoy reading this article, well, you'd be welcome to come by the school and read it. We'd be glad to have you. Okay, let's turn the page there. Go ahead, Mr. Cope, and turn that page there, and we'll pick it up. Okay.
Now that's Charlie Lester again, Charlie Cope and Lester Cope brothers at Nashville. That one was. And down the next picture on the bottom, that's Charlie Lester and myself and Wallace.
Okay.
And then on the other page, that's Wallace and Lester and myself. Now I don't remember where Charlie was, but he wasn't around for it when we made that picture.
Okay. Now this, we've got a little section here of the songs that you all recorded.
Yeah, all the songs is on there, right on the right side there in the book. We recorded. There's 10 numbers, and we got them on. Had them on a record. Of course, we haven't got any of them now. They're done broke. Antique now, I guess.
Yeah, right.
But they's made on King Record, red label King.
Well, that's real interesting. The picture we got, Mr. Cope, would you like to tell us who's in this picture?
Yeah, that's Lester when made down in Nashville. That's Charlie Leuven. Charlie used to play with the boys down in Chattanooga. They used to play at WDO down in WDOD in Chattanooga, and Leuven brother just started then. And Charlie, my brother, he heard them on a little 250-watt station, and he heard them and went over to see about them and got them to come over there and join up with him on a 50-watt station, and I mean 50,000-watt station. Okay, all right. And so they played for us for a while, a month or two around there, and they come up home, and Charlie and I both came with them. They stayed at my house out here 2 weeks, and they showed 2 or 3 times out, and they went on show date a time or two, while he's up here. And Charlie, of course, since then, well, they've been everywhere, went to Memphis, and Charlie and R both, and R died, so Charlie is still down at Nashville and doing all right. And we was down there at Nashville and when that picture was made, and Charlie wanted Lester to come on in the dressing room there, and we went in there, and they had music all around there, and they got instruments, and they started out on the Knoxville Girl. Is that right? Yeah, started out on the Knoxville Girl, and Charlie Leuven had a boy about 20 years old, and he never heard Charlie Leuven sing that song, and he looked at his daddy a while, and he looked at Lester a while. He didn't know what was going on. And they sang that song clear through, and I don't reckon they missed a note on this. Sung it clear through, and we had a big time down there listening with them. These boys had a TV show that run for a long time from the Grand Ole Opry, didn't they? Who's that?
The Leuven brothers.
Yeah, oh yeah, they've been on television a lot. They've had TV shows. They was at Memphis a long time. They played with Eddie Hill, and they've been around a long time. They was a real duet.
I can remember seeing on TV sang that Knoxville Girl,
Yeah.
back as I grew up, kind of.
Yeah, that is, they several recorded. We was first, and I don't know where we was first and recorded, but that Knoxville Girl, it's not about Knoxville, Tennessee. I wrote Knoxville, England.
Well, I didn't know that, that's amazing.
Yeah, and we was, I never heard it on record before, but we recorded it in 47. And since then, it's been recorded by about 7 or 8 different groups. You know?
Uh-huh. Well, that's great. Well, that's good news there. I appreciate hearing that. One of the signs in the local community, the WNOX, Koch brothers. And I can remember people talking about the midday merry-go-round. That was a big thing in Knoxville at that time. There was a lot of stars got started down there, wasn't it, Mr. Koch?
That's right. There's a lot of people, a lot of them in Nashville got started down there with Cats walking Little Adventures.
And this is a poster here that where y'all performed at Bean Station School. And I don't know where you can pick it up on this camera or not, but I'll read it to you here. It said it was, admission was children 15 cents and adults 27 cents plus tax 3 cents adult. Total admission 30 cents for an adult. That's a pretty good price for that good entertainment for one night.
See how much money we made then.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's great. Okay, Mr. Cope, I'd sure like to take this time and opportunity to really thank you for sharing some of these memories and being part of this film about Old Tate Springs and Bean Station, and I really appreciate you taking time. I sure would like to invite you down whenever get this thing done and pull up an old chair and sit down and watch this thing with us.
I thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Murray Wallace and Patsy Tate. We're going to be looking at a book that they've spent a great deal of time on, a lot of work, and really done a great job. And we'd like for anybody that wants to come by at Bean Station School and view this. We can't let it leave the school because it's just one of them, but if you'd like to come and work with the librarian, well, she'll be glad to show you this, and I'm sure there's a lot of things in here that you'll enjoy. And I'd like to thank Murray, you and Patsy both, for all the work and time. Not only this book, but the whole Homecoming 86. Y'all done a real great job. We really appreciate it. I think I can say this from the community. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we begin this film by looking over this area. That was the area where the intersection of Old Bean Station, where the Bean Station Tavern, post office, school, the most populated area in Old Bean Station. We're looking at it right straight in front of us. Now, this intersection, of course, connected to north, south, and east to west. And this, okay, I got Dr. T.J. Hill with me this afternoon, and he's going to be talking about the area here where he grew up, and he's going to give us some good information here. It's going to help us on our film. Doc, would you like to talk a little bit there for us, please?
Right, we're talking about the old racetrack field now, which dates back considerably further than I do. In fact, I can't remember any time that there was a racetrack here. But I've always been told that it extended from where you can see the highway to the north here, up as far as you can see here before the hill bends across, and came back to the right and down just somewhat below where the tree line is here. It encompassed a considerable field. All that I've ever seen in this field was pasture and corn. One time when we had pasture land here, they used to bring in some of these stunt flyers when flying was new and took people for rides, and they took off and landed in this field.
Well, it's a level field for a long way, isn't it? I tell you what, that's one of the sad parts of water coming up is doing away with something that's that beautiful.
One of the flattest fields probably in the valley, and probably as clear of rocks as any that you'll find.
Okay. Okay.
This is the site of a first oil well ever drilled in Grainger County. It was, according to legend or tales or whatever you like to call it,
probably reached about 1,300 feet.
Ooh.
The only thing that they ever found, to my knowledge, was some pockets of gas.
Mm-hmm.
Now, legend has it, and I suppose you must call this legend, is that the man who drilled it supposedly called some people to his bedside when he was dying and told them that there should be further exploration of this well, because when they kept it,
Mm-hmm.
they felt that they were really close to probably some oil. This, of course, has to be legend.
Mm-hmm.
As far as what was actually found, so far as I ever knew, was they did find some salt water, which is supposed to be an indication of possible oil,
Mm-hmm.
and they did find several gas pockets. And at times they felt like there was enough gas that it was almost dangerous for them to drill.
Mm-hmm.
I quoted the figure of 1,300 feet because this is what I remember being
Right.
told.
Okay, right. Well, that's very interesting. Let me move on. Now, the old well that Doc's talking about, we're right down, if you look over the top of it, you'll see where the old racetrack was. That kind of gives you an idea of the area where we're talking about. I'll also give you a shot from over here at the mountains in the area that we're located. We're looking at the steps of Old Bean Station School. Doc, would you explain a little bit to us here, please?
What you see here is the foundation of the old school, of course, of the new school, excuse me. The old school, of course, burned, and a new school was constructed on this site right here. You can see the foundation as it goes north and then east, back around. You can see part of the foundation back here. The school was still a wood floor construction. It was a brick veneered building, and to those of us who had attended the old school, it looked rather palatial in its time. It really was new and different, and we were all very, very proud of this particular building. Right out here to the right, you can see the remains of the old water fountain. Now, you can see the trough that is cut there. There was a pipe went down and was blocked off at the far end, and holes bored in that pipe, and as you pumped the water into it, the water came out in spurts, and 3 or 4 people could, or 4 or 5 people could drink at the same time. This was something new. Always before, we had carried our water in buckets and drunk from dippers.
Mm-hmm.
Right down here, although you wouldn't believe it now, was an old dirt basketball court. There's so many rocks there now that have been exposed by the water that you could scarcely see how that could ever be, but so much soil has eroded away.
Right.
There were no rocks on that basketball court.
Mm-hmm.
Also, beginning behind that basketball court was a baseball field. A home run was when you knocked it into 25.
Into the highway.
And
Okay, now this is, I guess this is the house that you lived in all your life from the top right on up to a certain age there. Right, Doctor?
that's pretty much right. Now, there was an old house that sits down toward the, that set down toward the lake, that, where this one is that I was born in. And most of the rest of my life, I grew up, you might say, in this house. My room was upstairs in the window that you can see to the right.
Okay.
I always remember fondly the high ceilings and the good hardwood floors. This house was built in the midst of the Depression of good material by a good craftsman. Good craftsmen could be had at that time for very little because there was no money.
Mm-hmm.
The house is very cool
summertime, it's also very cool in the winter.
I got you.
Was heated almost exclusively by fireplaces, except the kitchen where there was a wood stove. The kitchen was the favorite place to stay, actually. Relatively small room and well heated. The only part of the house it was. Upstairs had no heat at all. You got up on a cold winter's morning and your pants were awful cold.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Doctor, one thing unique about this house is we turn and back down. This is the only house I've seen that's actually facing the lake. All the others has been moved or destroyed. Okay.
The reason this house was never moved was the fact that it is inside finished with plaster and lath. And to move it, you would almost surely destroy that plaster and lath finish on the inside. So it was left as it was.
Okay. I've always wondered why, you know, the road, the new road up there, when you travel, you're really looking at the back of the house.
That's right.
And it sure looks different when you get over here and look at it. Dr. Hill, I'd sure like to take this time to thank you for the time that you've given us to make this film more successful. And I'd like to invite you to see it whenever we get it done, and I hope it works out good. And I know you're a busy man, and we really appreciate you taking time out to help this. And this is going to be put in the library, and we hope a lot of kids in the future will get to see this and better understand the history of Bean Station, Tate Springs. Thank you very much.
Only too glad to do it.
I'm here today going to interview Mr. Thomas A. Long. He's a lifetime resident in the Bean Station area, and he's going to talk to us some about the Tate Springs area. Mr. Long, would you care to tell us how old you are, sir?
84.
84 years old. Okay, I understand that you was the last golf pro at Tate Springs Golf Course.
I charged the golf course. The last plan was done on before the lake.
Uh-huh. Okay, you used to tell me the other day about some logs, how they used to preserve them up at the creek.
Back at the golf course. I started in there at 11 years old.
Okay. Okay.
I played golf all my life with the grandkids. So I come from there, the last pro that had.
That's interesting. You used to tell me about them shipping a lot of water down there in that area.
Ship every bit the spring ran. They had a bottling plant right below the spring. They run around the clock, day and night. Caught it all. Shipped it away from here into several states, and 5-gallon demijohns, packed in wooden crates. Shipped it all over the country. Every drop of it was run. That's all going in the lake.
Yeah. But what did they use this water for a lot of, kind of like medicine in some places, didn't
Yeah, that's water. Stomach trouble, different things. Epsom water. It kind of works on you like laxative. You drink it hot before breakfast. It's just like a laxative.
You used to tell me something about one of those creeks down there that they worked with some logs.
Yeah, there's a spring down there runs out of the foot of the mountain. It's quite a ways from the hotel. Not out of the mountain, out of the knob. The first running water was ever there. It's got the name of the Burnt Log Hollow. Where it got the Burnt Log Hollow, they cut logs into 4-foot lengths, bored a 2-inch hole through them lengthways, and put them together with pitch and canvas, made them waterproof, and they burnt them logs to make them last, and seared the outside of it. That's where the name comes from. That was the first running water we ever had in the kitchen at Tate Springs Road.
How many years did you worked around Tate Springs down there?
All my life.
All your life. I guess you've seen quite a few famous people come in and out down there.
Oh, we had a bunch of famous people. Used to be a railroad, you know, come up through
Uh-huh.
from Knoxville to Morristown.
Mm-hmm.
Had to stop at Bean Station. We had C.R. Capps, the president of the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad. He'd bring his private car in twice a year. Sit it down there on the side and come on to the hotel. And we had a bunch of prominent people, millionaires. M.J. Condon, the owner and president of the American Snuff Company, Memphis.
Uh-huh.
He used to come 2 or 3 times a year. Oh, we had any number of wealthy people. We had people there from, I guess, 30 states.
That's a lot
Got
of
a picture somewhere here made with me playing golf with a woman from Sydney, Australia.
That's a long way off there.
She was here as a guest.
Yeah, yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah, boy, that's a beautiful building down there, wasn't it? That,
Now to begin with, we only had a little old 9-hole golf course down there.
okay,
It's kind of a cow pasture golf course.
right.
Then they put in this, we had a beautiful course there, one hit it outstanding. One of the prettiest in the South.
That's good.
Both sides of where the highway is now.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to some fellas down there, and they said that the lake got a lot of it, and then what was left, the highway got it.
Yeah.
So,
Just a little of it left where Kingwood's, you know where Kingwood's Chapel's built?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
on number 1 green.
yeah, yeah. That's what they tell me down there. I got that film.
Now the old clubhouse sat just over opposite of the gas station.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Well, listen, Mr. Long, I really appreciate you taking this time out to help me and tell the people
And
here.
That gazebo was a bandstand.
Uh-huh.
Keep a 7-piece orchestra there.
Yeah.
All summer.
Yeah,
They come down there and get upstairs and play before supper time.
I guess you've seen a little picking and grinning from that place, ain't you?
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Tell you something else that might be history. He's dead now. He used to have a colored feller. They picked him up and raised him there, Jim Jennings.
Uh-huh.
He stayed there till the hotel went out of business. Flunkey was handyman.
Yeah.
Used to have a galvanized bathtub. You've seen them about 4 foot long.
Right, I know what you're talking about.
He'd go down them halls with that in one hand, 5-gallon hot water in the oven, check on the door, bath. Some fella out of the room, no, I don't want no bath. He'd go on the next room. We're in the bathroom in the hotel.
Uh-huh.
Later on, he's modernized.
Right, right. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I appreciate you bringing that up.
Right back to the back.
Well, that's a big change from some of those people that had all that money, didn't have a bathroom there.
Boy, the automobiles, you'd be surprised if people with money would put up with that.
Right, right, yeah.
That shows you they wanted that water and
Right.
recreation.
Yeah.
They had horse trails down there. The old man Clem Thompson had a livery barn there. He had double rigged series and horseback riding, had trails cut all over these mountains.
Mm-hmm.
And they really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. I guess it's a big treat for a lot of people wanting to get away from everything, wasn't it?
Then they had their own power plant.
Mm-hmm.
They generated their own power.
Yeah.
All coal from Morristown.
Yeah, they was telling me that they'd go get ice down there and bring it back up there and
They had ice.
store it now.
They said ice, stored their ice for summer purposes. The state made them quit it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't do it. They furnished the community with ice.
Yeah.
They had a huge ice. And that stuff will last forever.
Yeah. Packed it in sawdust, didn't it?
Layer ice, and a layer of sawdust.
Yeah. Huh.
The building airtight.
Yeah.
It just stay in there for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they cut their own eyes, they generated their own power. Had their own dairy farm, their own vegetable farm. Raised their hogs and their beef cattle.
That's
Bought everything neighbors had.
Yeah. Well, they kind of,
That used to be the only place in this community you could sell anything.
yeah,
They'd buy you eggs, buy you butter, and fruit,
apples.
potatoes, apples, anything you had to sell.
I can remember my dad talking about coming across the mountain, you know, bringing a mule, and he'd have some apples on his back, you know, and he'd work there in the day and put them apples there and sell them, you know,
Yeah.
as you come across the mountain.
Hey, incident about an apple tickling me. One old man across the mountain used to bring apples over and peddle,
Yeah,
and he'd have them polished up. They looked perfect.
yeah.
So one of the guests that I got to be around, man took a bite out of it and said, "Uncle, these apples awful hard." He said, "They are on the outside, but they're mellow on the inside." That's the other thing I'll tell you about. I used to have another old guy.
Hey, we got a camera here. We're working a little bit.
We've done some research.
Doing a little research.
Shut the door, he can't hear you.
It's all right. All right.
Another old man used to come over here from across the mountain called Greenleaf Collins.
Uh-huh.
He had one of these old captain ball rifles with a barrel about 6 foot long, and a hole in it you could stick your finger in.
Yeah.
He set that up at the spring there and went around and got him a glass of water. He used to have benches all around that spring out. That's where people sat and rested and loafed. One of them kept eyeing that old rifle and he said, "Uncle, what do you kill with that big bore rifle?" He said, "Squirrels, mostly." He said, "There wouldn't be nothing left for a squirrel to eat to kill it with that thing." He said, "I never reached the head."
Must have been a pretty good shot.
Yeah, I never reached your head. There's about the size. You'd win every turkey shoot you went to.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Shot with it.
Yeah.
I guess you can put a squirrel head on.
That is good. Well, I really appreciate you taking this time to help me here. And you know, it's really great. I really appreciate it. And I hope you get this thing together here. We'll let you look at it. Maybe you'll enjoy it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I sure will. Thank you very much.
Okay.